Hello there, guys, and I hope you're all doing well. Now, I know these are very challenging times, but my prayer is that by the end of everything, then we'll just come out safe and sound. Now, I uploaded a tutorial on Volley library, how to add the Volley library to your Android Studio project. If you've not done that, please just pause this video and just go back and add that, see the tutorial how to add Volley to your Android Studio project. Then you can come back to this one. Also, I gave links on the same video on how to download XAMPP, but also I'll add them in this description, in the description down this in this video, where you can just go and get XAMPP. So just get XAMPP, the program, install it into your machine, then we can just proceed with this project. Now, if you already have XAMPP installed, then we can just start with that one. Let's just go to XAMPP, just launch XAMPP. What we are going to do right now is we are going to be creating a table where users can use to sign up, and also when they're logging in, we can also fetch from the same data, and we are able to use the credentials to log in to our application. So it's also an important step that we do this. We create a table for the users, and we store all the credentials in one place. Now, once your XAMPP is already up and running, you can just start Apache here and MySQL. Then when all that is done, you can just click on the admin on MySQL. Okay, it may take longer for the web browser to open, but just be patient. Okay, mine is already here. Now what we're going to do is to create a database, a new database, and we name it, we give it a name. So you can just click on new. Then we give a name here, and we can just call it Android. And on this second option, you can just click on the drop down menu. Then we select the very first option in that list, and that is collation. Then we can create this database. Then once you get to this point, we can just click on SQL on top there. Then we can just write the query. Now I have already written some files for you guys that you can use, and they look like this. So I will send these files to your specific groups so that you can actually download them and see what they contain. Now for now, we are going to use the users table query.txt. When you open it, then you'll get something of this kind. It's just a query. You can just copy it. Then you can just close, minimize this. Then into your browser, you can just paste it. So it's going to be easy for you guys that as you follow, it's going to be really easy. Then you can just click on go. Okay, so we've already created a table. Now for you to see all these values, you can just click on users here. Then you'll see that there's a first name, last name, email, ID number, phone, password, and ID. So already our table has been created successfully. Now some of the files that I've also written are like sign up. We'll use this text file to sign in users. It's actually an Android code. We'll use this to sign in the users, and also have a PHP file for database. And here exactly, and I have some to-dos on top of that. So for this case, you'll write here the database that you've created, but we'll do this together also. Okay, now once all this is done, you can you just go to where exactly you installed your XAMPP file. For me, it's under C in XAMPP. Then you click on it, then you go to htdocs. Once you're in this place, you can just create a new folder and call it Android. Call it Android. Then you open the file. Now once that is done, you can just go back to these files, all these files. Let me just open them side by side, and I can just copy one by one. Let me start with the DB Connect. And create user. So the rest I'll just leave them like that. So once you are in this place, you can just open the DB Connect, and you can just get rid of all these. They're not necessary. Already we've given our database a name. You can always confirm this from here. We call it Android. So we can just get rid of this and call it Android. Now once you've already done this, you can save this file, save as. Then you give it a different extension. That is a PHP file. PHP. Then you save. And you'll get a PHP file right here. Then you can just open the create user.txt file again. So it is the wrong file. Let me just copy this here. Yes. And I open the signup.txt file. Yeah, and it looks something like this. And already it includes dbconnect.php. And these are the variables that we'll be posting from our Android application. And this query checks whether the user exists. And if it does, then it warns you that this account already exists. Otherwise, then it creates a new user. And it puts first name, last name, email, ID number, phone, and password. Then when all that is successful, it will bring you a toast message saying that everything is okay and ready to go. Then when this function fails, then we're going to get an error message saying registration failed, an error occurred. Now we can go ahead and save this. We save as also, and we give it a different extension. That's a PHP file. Then we save it. Then we'll have to dbconnect.php and signup.php. But as well, you can get rid of this because they're not important at the moment. Now let's just head back to the Android Studio. Now from here, I give IDs to the files in your signup activity signup.xml. I gave IDs to the various components, real components, that is the edit text. Like for the first one, I gave it first name, edit text. Then I gave the other one a last name, and the other one email edit text, and user ID edit text, phone edit text, user password, and finally confirm password. And also please don't forget this button. I gave it sign up button. Now once you've given all these the required IDs, you can just pause the video and give the IDs if you've not already done that. Then you can, when you're done, you can just go back to sign up activity. From here, you'll include variables for the edit text text input edit text here for the first name, last name, email, phone, confirm password, edit text, and etc. And also one for the button. And once that is done, you can just find these views by ID. Make sure that you found them correctly and they bring. Okay, and you can also write some string variables that will have all this data from here, and you can just put them right over here. Now the next thing that we're going to do is to write a method below here that's supposed to sign in to sign up the user, or to create this user once our button is clicked. So of course the first thing that we're going to do is to get a reference to the sign up button. Then we set an on click listener to it. Okay, so once already you've set up the on click listener, this is exactly where you're going to add the method. To create a user, and we're going to put it here in a private void create user. And of course it will take so many parameters, like from the first name, last name, and everything else. But there's one thing here I want us to follow first. We can just open command prompt. In Windows it's command prompt. Then once you get something like this, you can just type there ipconfig. Then you click on enter. Once you get all these details, you can just what we want is the IP address version 4. Then you can just highlight on this one and we copy. Then we can close this. Once that is done, we can just place this inside our resources file, values and strings. Already I had created a string for the machine IP address. So just create a variable for the same. Then you can copy that data inside. Okay. Now once we've done that already, then one thing that we want to do also is to create a URL. A URL is a universal resource locator that is supposed to find all the resources that we've already placed in our files. So we're going to use a string. So what this is going to return is it's going to return the following. Then what we're going to have next here is actually a link to our PHP file. So we'll add this as we go on. So let's just create let's add the parameters that are required for us to create this user. So the first is always the first name. Then we have this last name. Then we can have the email. Okay, we can just check all these variables here. First name, last name, email, ID, then phone number. string font, then finally password. Okay, that is that. Now once you have you've done all this, you can just open the files that I had sent you before. Now there's this create user table, create user, the txt file. It contains a method. Now we're going to copy all this content. I'm just going to start from here. All this. And I'm going to paste it inside here. Okay, we can just come above here and write Volley variables. And one, a request queue. Request queue. Then once you get all these red lines, we ask to hit Alt plus Enter. When you hit Alt plus Enter, it imports these properties. So that's what you're going to do for the rest of all these requests. Okay, so there's some of the things that you're supposed to do are to-dos. You're supposed to add some context here. So you can just wrap this, get rid of this, and we use sign up activity.this or the context. And here also, we are going to use the method that we've just written, get base URL. So here to do add a success message here. So this is when everything goes fine. We are supposed to add a toast message. We're not going to add a message here, but we're going to use the one that comes from the database. We're just going to pass message. This is the variable message that I've just put here. So let me just copy all this. Then we are supposed to add an error message here. Now instead of message, we need to get rid of this and use E to string. Same here. Error dot to string. Now I'm going to make this long, not short. but we can leave this one at short. So we are supposed to add so here we are supposed to add params. Let's just get rid of this line first of all. So this is exactly what you're putting: first name, last name, email. So this is what you will do. Use the first name, then we put the first name, last name, this is email, ID, phone. Finally, we have password. And that is finished. Then we can just, now that we've done everything here, just remove this. Now for this link we use Android backslash sign up. So how did I actually know this? This is normally the directory found inside here inside the htdocs. It's Android. Then inside Android we have signup.php. So this is the file that we want. This is the file that we want exactly. So this is what we're going to be running remotely inside our Android application. And the params that we put the first name, the last name, email, ID, phone, and password. So this is exactly where they're captured. So they're captured in this place, and then they are fixed inside here using the post variable with using the post methods. Just close this. So already this is correctly done. Now one thing that we need to do is to now fix the method. Then we run the project. So let's create this user. So create user. First of all, we give first name, and we give these variables here. We'll be using these variables instead. So it's the first name. Make sure that it's string on this end. First name, last name, then the user email, user ID, then the phone, and finally password. Then we can just get rid of this. Now I want us to show the progress. Once this method is running, how will you know that it's running? I can just use the mSignup button. Then we can just set text to it and say it's creating user. We can just copy this method, this line of code, paste it here. Okay, everything looks good. So we can just save this project, then we run it. So what we're expecting exactly is that once we sign up a user or we create a user, then the user is supposed to be seen in this database. He or she is supposed to appear exactly at this point. So that is what we are waiting to see. Okay, mine is finished processing. So let's just go ahead and create this account. So I'm going to give some random stuff. And the random password. Then we sign up. Okay, so we have an error right here. It's saying that no connection error, just clear text with traffic to. Okay, so we can just solve this problem. Just go to your manifest file. Manifest file. On top here at the application, just write clear text traffic. Android uses clear text traffic. Then you set it to true. Then you can save and rerun the project. So it's not yet, and they're waiting to see. All right, so let's go ahead and create this user. Let's just write some random stuff. Okay, so let me just sign up. Okay, so I've gotten a message here that it's been successfully created. So let me just reload this and see what happens. So I can see that actually it has come, but the data is not inside. So I've just finished running, and it has just installed successfully. So let me just go and add some data to these fields. So let me just put some random stuff. Okay, so I've just loaded some data. So let me just try signing up. So account has been created successfully. Let's go back to the database and see. So I'm going to refresh this. Okay, so I'm getting the ID only, but the data set is empty. It's empty. So there should be something wrong with. Let me see. Let me just try like feeding. Let me just hard code this data and see what it's going to bring instead. Then here I'm going to use email. So I'm just going to hard code this first of all before I use these string variables and see what they're going to give me. So let me just save this and run. So the first time I just gotten an empty data set. So let me just see, because I'm seeing here that there's an null point exception, but okay, so it's already up. Let me just feed some random stuff. But they're supposed to go as first name, last name, email, user ID, then the phone number and password. So let me just try signing up. Okay, it's been successfully created. Let me go to this database and refresh. Okay, so I'm getting first name, last name, email, user ID, and there is a blank. Okay, all right. So this actually means that these are actually empty. So, but I'm sure that your programs, guys, you're supposed to be getting nice results.